Good afternoon, my name is Patricia. I'm with the Pulaski County Health Department, and we're going to be doing some moving around today. Susan and them had asked me to come to talk to you all today about different things that you can use at home to exercise. Not everybody can always get to the gym, or if you run out of time, maybe you're wanting to watch your favorite TV program, so you can actually move at home and get your heart rate up. And we're going to talk about a few ideas of things that you can do at home or in your office, or even if you're a passenger in a vehicle, not driving, but things that you can do to move and get your blood flowing and maybe get your heart rate up. Does everybody have two bowls? Empty bowls. Okay. Now, you can use anything as resistancy, but you always need to do a warm-up and a cool-down. And always listen to your body. Some days you may be just really energetic and you can really go longer than you normally exercise, and then some days you might not just be feeling it. So just kind of listen to your body, drink plenty of water, eat good fruits and vegetables, get lots of sleep. Those are really, really good things. There's no quick fix to weight loss or feeling good. You know, if there was a pill that everybody could take and you could be the right size, that would be wonderful. But there's so many things that actually come out, but all it boils down to is a really good diet, you know, get up and get moving, and really good sleep. We're going to start with some stretches, and we're going to be sitting in our chair, but you can do these at your office, in a car, or whatever, and just move at your comfort level. But you always want to try to have really good posture. Your back's going to be up straight. Just take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. You can even do this if you're getting ready to get your blood pressure taken, and it's going to help decrease your blood pressure. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now we're just going to look to the right, center, left, center, to the right, center, left, center. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and just kind of relax your shoulders. Have you ever been driving down the road and you're like, wow, I'm tensed up, and didn't even realize it, or sitting in a chair and you feel your shoulders are up? So just kind of start paying attention, just like loosen up your shoulders, you know, and just let your hands kind of hang low. If your shoulders are tight, if you're starting to get a tension headache, one thing that you can start to do is like breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. You can actually take your arms up. You kind of want to have your elbows kind of like level with your shoulders, if that's comfortable for you. And imagine between your shoulder blades, you have an empty Coke can, and you want to crush it. Tighten those muscles and just kind of hold it for a second, and then release it. What happens is you're getting some more blood flow back there. And if you're breathing, you're getting oxygen and blood flow. So if you're going to do it again, imagine you're squishing a can, and then releasing it. And this is going to help with some tension. Do it one more time. And then release. Shake your arms out. Now, a lot of times we often get really tense necks and shoulders. You can always try to take your ear to your shoulder, but you don't want to raise your shoulder up to your ear. You want to keep your shoulders down and try to take your right ear to your right shoulder and just kind of hang it out there for a minute. Does anybody feel tense? Make sure your shoulder's relaxed. You don't want to take your shoulder up. It's a natural response to try to lift your shoulder. So just kind of hang out there for a second and then back up. Take your left ear to your left shoulder. Does anybody feel the tight muscle in there? Just kind of hang out there for a second. Back up. Let's go to the right ear, right shoulder. Back up. And as you notice, you're probably going a little bit farther each time you do this. Left ear, left shoulder. Back up. Now, if you want an even bigger stretch in this area, right ear to right shoulder, left hand you want to push down. Make sure you're relaxing your left shoulder. You don't want it to come up. Back straight, right ear to right shoulder. Now, if that's a good stretch for you, you can stop there. However, if you want a deeper stretch, take your left hand and push down. And the more you push down, the bigger of a stretch you're going to get. Can you feel a difference there? And then back up. Now, left ear to left shoulder. And if you're okay there, but if you want a bigger stretch, take your opposite hand, your right hand, push down. You should feel it like in through your neck, shoulder area, and back up. Breathing in through your nose, in through your mouth. Now, just start opening and closing your hands. Does anybody wake up and your hands are stiff or swollen? Yeah. So you can just kind of get blood flow going like this. Or if you're setting typing or writing, you can just move your fingers around. You can take and tap your thumb. Just always remember, if you don't use it, you may lose it. So flexibility is good. And just circle your wrist. Now we just want to bring our arms up and down, getting our little arms warmed up. Now anytime that you raise your arms above your head, it will increase your heart rate. So unless the doctor has told you otherwise, not to put your arms above your head, that's one really good way to get your heart rate up. So now we're going to go from shoulders to our head, shoulders down. So anytime you get your arms above your head, your heart rate's going to start coming up. Anybody warming up yet? Okay, we'll do it one more time and then that's it. Okay, shake them out. Now just start marching in your chair. Yeah, so you can get your steps in like this. So if you're watching your favorite TV show, you can do your moving. And if you want to get your heart rate up again, you can just start moving your arms. And if you want to get it up even more. And you wouldn't think this would get your heart rate up, but after a while it does. Now, do you have your bowls handy? If you can kind of reach out and get your bowls. Now this is going to be kind of the resistance, okay? And this can kind of be fun. You can get creative. You start marching your legs, moving your bowls, and you can even start waving your bowls in the air. Not hitting your partner, just get your arms going. See, you can do this watching the Super Bowl, watching the UK. Can anybody feel a difference yet in their heart rate? Are you getting warmer? Yeah. So if you go home and you do this and your husband and wife, what are you doing? Or your kids or grandkids, they might want to join in. Okay, you can stop now. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. You feel your heart rate up? Now, take your arms straight out. And you can just rotate the bowls up and down. You're just getting a little more flexibility. You're still getting your heart moving. And you can even take a little heavier, you can take glass plates or glass bowls, something that weighs a little heavier at home. You can take gallon jugs of milk or gallon jugs of water.
That's 8 pounds.
So, you can kind of gauge it and put some weight in there. Just put them down. Now, kind of lean forward. Try to focus on keeping your back straight, your feet kind of parallel on the floor, and kind of try to keep your head in line with your spine. And then I want you to just imagine just to slowly lift up your arms and hold it there. And then just really slowly bring it back down. Now you can tone your muscles doing this. Anytime you're doing anything, just continue to do this real slow. Anytime you're doing slow, controlled movements, you're actually working, it takes more strength to do that than if you're moving through it really fast. So anytime that you do something slow and controlled, you're actually doing more work than if you were just really doing it really, really fast with your muscles. Okay? Now, just go back to kind of touching your heels on the floor. Bring your plates up. Are y'all getting warmed up? You can even kick if you want. You can fan yourself. Okay, just go back to marching your legs. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Now you can set your bowls aside. I bought a big can of beans. Now, you can use anything to work work out with at home. Just make sure that you watch your toes if you drop something like this. But with a can of beans or even bottles of water, you can do arm curls. You can even still sit in your chair. You can put your elbows into your side and just curl them up slow and controlled. So if you don't get an opportunity to go to the gym, or if you're trying to do a workout, you can do something like this. If you don't want to take them out to the side, you can take them straight down, and then when you pull them up, you can kind of twist it. That's going to work your arms too. Just do a twist. One more time. Now to work your shoulders, you can use bottles of water or cans. But just imagine like you've got a goalpost. And what you want to do is you want to bring your elbows in together. And you want to slide it down. And you want to come straight up, open them back out, and then down the goalpost. And if you do this a few times, you're going to start to see, with your shoulders, you really don't need a whole lot of weight. And like I said, just slow. You could be in the shower using shampoo and conditioner in your shoulder workouts. So this is just a small movement that you can do. Now shake your arms out. Now, if you want to stretch out your hips, if you've really been working out and stuff, this is a really good stretch. You can do sitting still. You've got your one leg at a 90-degree angle. Take your opposite one. Just kind of rest, if you can, rest your ankle on your leg. Now, this usually has a tendency to come up. Now, if your back is tall and straight, you can take your hand and just kind of slowly press down to where it's comfortable, and you should feel like a stretch in your hip. Now, I think if you have a hip replacement, you probably don't want to do something like this. Just consult with your doctor and stuff, before you do that. But anybody feel a stretch in there? Because a lot of times you have a lot of hip or lower back problems because maybe that's a little bit tight in there. And let's switch sides. So a lot of this stuff is you can do as a passenger in a car, sitting at your desk, at the break room, in the living room. And I think sometimes all of us tend to kind of like, some things slip our mind, like we need to stretch certain muscles or work certain muscles, and the least little thing we forget. But this will help a lot if your hips are tight. Can you all tell that you're going a little bit farther the second time than you did the first? Shake that out. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, if you're stretching, sometimes you may need some assistance stretching. And I brought just like a little hand towel. You can use a sock or a regular towel. If you want to stretch out your arms, because I know a lot of times trying to zip something up or button it, we tend to get kind of stiff in our arms and shoulders. You can take a towel and you can kind of just drop it behind your back and take your opposite hand here, and then you can just help yourself stretch. So if you want to practice stretches without using the towel, just kind of mimic this if you want to. You're just stretching. But when you get home, if you want to use a towel or something of that nature, just to kind of help you, that's always good. If you have arthritis, they have all kinds of different arthritis assisting things that you can actually get online, like a knife or something to help button your shirts or whatever if your hands are a little bit slower. But just moving kind of helps a whole lot. Also, you can take a towel. You can kind of mimic this with me if you want. You can take a towel above your head, and with your back tall and straight, you can imagine that you're pulling it down to your chest bone here, and then straight back up. If you have a resistancy band, does anybody have a resistancy band? You can do that. You would pull the resistancy band out and you just bring it straight down. Can you all feel this in your arms and shoulders already just doing this sitting there? Now this time we're going to take it behind our head and we're going to kind of rest it on the meaty part of our shoulders when you're doing a stretch.
Rapid response.
That's going to work the back part of your back and your shoulders and even your arms. My arms just doing this is getting really warm. Anybody else's? Yeah, okay, shake that out. Now, so many of us often tend to think that we have to have really heavy weights to make a difference in toning, and you really don't. If you really stop and think about it, let's imagine someone has broke their leg, and they have a cast on it. What does it look like when they take the cast off compared to the other leg? And that's usually like 4 to 6, is it 4 to 6 weeks usually? Yeah. Just in that small amount of time, that muscle goes, it shrinks. So, just imagine how much you weigh right now. I don't want to know. But just imagine how much that you weigh. So when you walk across the floor, that's how much weight that you're lifting with each leg. So if you're standing on one leg and you weigh 150 pounds, that's how much that leg is lifting. So, if you're sitting in a chair and you do squats, that's how much weight that you're lifting, however much that you weigh. So we're going to kind of practice that. We're going to do 10 squats, and this should really get everybody's heart rate up. So if you're allowed to do squats, unless the doctor's told you otherwise, when we do squats, we're not actually going to sit down in our chair, but we're going to pretend like we get really, really close to the chair, but we're going to stand back. Shoulder width apart. You want your back tall and straight, and you want to imagine that you're getting ready to sit down in the chair, but you're really not. So you're going to kind of sit back, touch the seat, and then squeeze your hips and legs and stuff when you come back up. That's 1, 2, I already feel it in 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the last one, you can just stay there. 10. You can just say, you're breathing through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, what did you feel in those 10 squats? Anybody? Was it hard? Did you tell it?
Yes.
Yeah. When you say 10, it's like, but when you get to 2, it's like, oh, we got how many more to go? But little things like that that you can actually incorporate. Another thing is sweeping the floor. You can sweep. When you sweep the floor, you're using your arms. You can use that broom as a weight. If you're carrying in groceries, try to watch how you carry in groceries because you don't want to ruin your circulation. You want to. I know all of us probably try to carry as much as we can in at one load so we don't have to keep going back. But really pay attention to your joints and your back when you're carrying stuff in. And I know like at the grocery store, if you're getting a big case of water, it's easy to kind of fling it in there. But really watch your lower back and your posture. And just always remember that slow and control is way better than if you're trying to sling something like a big 25-pound of dog food or whatever. And don't be embarrassed to ask for help if you need help lifting something because you don't want to injure your back or legs or joints. So another thing that we're going to do if you want to stand up is we're going to work a little bit of our calves. And so if you just want to come up on your toes and then down, we're going to do about 10 of these. It's 2. And think how much you weigh, and that's how much you're lifted. So you can go home and tell everybody how much weight that you've lifted tonight. If you really want to be impressive, you can hold on to your chair and do it with one leg and say that you lifted one leg with however much you weigh. You don't have to tell them that's how much you weigh, but, oh, tonight I lifted 150 with one leg. Is anybody feeling it in their calves? Okay, you can switch over. And hang on to something, if you're exercising and you're a little shaky, hold something for assistance. Okay, you can shake that out. Is everybody's legs in? Now what we're going to do is if you want to stay there, don't kick anybody, but you want to make sure, let's say your left leg is just slightly bent And you're going to take your right leg and you just want to lift it up just a little bit. You should be able to feel that in the back of your leg and your glutes. You don't want to lift it too high that you're feeling it in your lower back. You don't want to feel it in your lower back. And if you want to hold on to something for some stability, that's always good. We'll do about 10 of these. You should feel it really good in your backside. Okay, let's switch. You can even do this in the grocery store to check out. Anybody feeling it yet? Okay, that should be good. Now, if you want to work your stomach and you're sitting down, you can actually do that. Anytime that you're engaging in balance, you have to have your core for balance. And if you have any children or grandchildren, one of the top things I always tell you to do is let your babies have tummy time or floor time, right? Because that develops their stomach. So when they start raising their head or rocking around, that really gets engaged with their core. And if you've ever noticed a baby that's had surgery or something on their stomach, a lot of times they're a little bit delayed with setting up or crawling because that affects their core. So when you're having good posture, you're using your core. Does anybody have any of those big exercise balls? You can sit on those and watch TV for a few minutes, and that's going to work your core. But good posture, shoulders back, that always works it too. Now, you can sit and you can raise your legs up until you feel it in the lower part of your stomach. Does anybody feel that? And you can release it down. And you can rock back just a little bit and raise your legs. You should feel it like dead center of your stomach. And then let it down. But working your stomach doesn't take a whole lot of effort, but you can feel it. Anybody feeling it?
Yeah.
Okay. One more time. Good job. Now let's stretch out our backs. Now I want you to imagine like a bear hug. Your feet are flat on the floor, your back is tall and straight. And let's imagine you're like rounding your back to give like a big hug, and then you're releasing it. That feels like a good stretch. Rounding it around, and then release it. One last time, round and around, and release it. Now, what you want to try to do is, let's say, raise your right arm, and kind of like pat yourself on the back. Take your left hand, if you can, try to touch your fingertips. Now, I can't touch mine, but if you continually to practice this, you can kind of reset and shake it out. Usually the second and third time you can feel yourself go a little bit farther. And this is something you can practice on a regular basis that's going to help with your flexibility and your joints. I'm hoping one day I can touch my fingers. Now let's use the other side here. And one side's usually easier than the other. Shake it out. Does anybody remember that if you could have ever touched your fingertips? Does anybody remember? Anybody? And then shake it out. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Does anybody have any questions about things that you can use at home to work out with? Any questions? I brought you all some measuring tapes to measure your arms, your stomach, your hips, and your legs. Now, just because you get on a scale and the scale doesn't move, doesn't mean that you've not made progress. Sometimes you're losing in inches. So I brought some measuring tapes so you all can have these and you can measure yourself and just tuck it away somewhere. But you may see a weight loss in your stomachs or your ribs. Like you measure your stomach, one good rule of thumb is sometimes we think, is that where I had the tape last time? But if you want to measure like the bottom part of your rib cage, and then if you want to move down to where your belly button is, and then just put the tape right dead in the center of your belly button, then those are some good markers to think, well, okay, I measured my ribs, And then this is where I put around my belly button. So that way you kind of got two mid areas to measure. And just write those down. And you may see a difference in a week, like, you know, an inch coming off or a quarter of an inch or half an inch. And that's motivation. But just remember, just because if you get on the scale and you have been working out, if the scale doesn't happen to move that week, don't get discouraged, because you could be just restructuring your body and your muscles are getting better and you're losing fat, but you're gaining muscle, and the scale sometimes may not move. But if you keep a measurement, sometimes that kind of gives you a little bit of a motivation by like, oh yeah, you know, I've lost a little bit here. So questions or comments about anything like this?
Trying to get away from that so it doesn't pick me up so loud. Not really a question, but I know in years prior you've mentioned like putting dry beans in a sock and using that as an ankle weight when you're
Yes.
doing these kind of things,
Yes.
or a wrist weight.
You can take pinto beans, an example. Go buy some pinto beans. You can put it in a tube sock, and you can tie it around your ankle and use those as ankle weights or arm resistancy bands. So if an animal does eat it, it's not going to hurt the animal if they eat the dry beans or whatever. But yeah, just tie it around your leg or your arms, and you can use that as resistancy. Or you can just take and tie a knot into it, and you can use it as like a soft hand weight resistancy. But you can get creative with anything in the house. Just always make sure that you got a good grip on it so you don't drop it on your toe or hurt yourself in some fashion. Any other questions or comments? Okay, that's all I have. So I'll pass out your measuring tapes and y'all get your measurements. Thank you all.